Apparently, former President Donald Trump accidentally insulted his own supporters. This is not a surprise. He did so on Saturday. Now, in a statement, not a tweet because he's banned on Twitter, in a statement that was typed out and supposedly checked for grammar, apparently not so much, he wrote this: "Anybody that doesn't think there wasn't massive election fraud in the 2020 presidential election is either very stupid or very corrupt." Now, look, as read, that statement, 100% correct. True. Very, very true. Look, claims of widespread voter fraud during the 2020 election, as I've shown you countless times, are not true. It's all bullshit. It's all fake news. Didn't actually happen. No massive voter fraud. Now, that said, there were instances of voter fraud. I've talked about them here. And ironically, they usually turned out to be Trump voters, some that have voted twice at different stations or even in the same place, or had also used their dead relatives to try to vote a second time. Whoops. Even with that, even with the amount of voter fraud that was found, it was nowhere near enough to affect the outcome of an election. Again, we're talking about infinitesimally small amounts of in-person voter fraud. So, as well as, of course, mail fraud, mail-in voter fraud, even lower. And so, and here's the thing, too. People were caught doing it because we have systems in place that catch the fraud already. So, yes, our system for catching voter fraud does work. It's very effective, and that means our elections are fairly secure. Now, whether they're effective at affecting change or are even democratic, well, you know, we can have a conversation about that one. But, you know, and again, I talk about that because we have, you know, gerrymandering. We only have two viable political parties to choose from, and in a lot of economic issues, they seem to be, especially in issues of corporate power, they seem to be pretty well aligned. But secure? Yes, it is secure. And again, look, as I've addressed in other segments, a population that is pretty apathetic about voting, as we are in this country, I mean, we have low levels, like sad, pathetic, crappy low levels of voting in this country. Just super low, right? If you have a population that is that apathetic about voting, it turns out they're not really all interested in risking everything to vote twice. Yes. Yes. Who knew? Who could have thought? Who would have thunk it? But as far as Trump goes, obviously, this didn't seem to be what he was going for. The doesn't and the wasn't effectively cancel each other out. Does that count as cancel culture? I found it. I found the real cancel culture that's going on. Trump canceling himself. Now, the best thing about this is that, as I mentioned, this is not even a case of randomly firing off a tweet. We've all done this before. Oops. Oh, no, that's not what I meant. Delete. Delete the tweet. Delete. Get rid of it. And then type it out. You know, what I actually wanted to say. No. That's not it. As we mentioned, Donald Trump's banned off Twitter. No, what this is that this was, I mean, this is effectively a press release. It's a statement sent to the press from Donald Trump, former President Trump. Now, my question is, do you not have, I don't know, people that are willing or able to check this out to make sure that you haven't said dumb things like this? And this is not like the stereotypical dumb Trump things, but like just to check to see if you have your grammar right. Is there not a process? And if not, which there doesn't seem to be, should there not be a process? Shouldn't be somebody checking Trump to be like, hey, what are you doing? You might want to change that. Or you know what? Why don't we change that for you to make sure you don't accidentally insult all your supporters who are probably honestly too dumb to even realize that they're being insulted. That's embarrassing, man. And again, this is coming from someone who, again, I think too fast. And when I think too fast and I'm typing out I'm banging out tweets, right? I forget words. I forget the greatest words, the best words. So I miss words in tweets all the time. And that is embarrassing. And sometimes those words provide, you know, crucial context. And yes, sometimes it's just embarrassing. But you would think, I'm just a random YouTuber. You would think that a former president of the United States, the most powerful man in the world, would have someone there to check to make sure he doesn't do stupid things like this. Again, it's not like he's firing off a tweet. And again, I don't even mention fact checking because they would never do that anyway, because if they're to fact check Donald Trump, then he'd never put out a statement because everything would be wrong. And so, but just at least trying to make it so that your lies sound coherent and not actually making the case for everyone else, the other side. But I unfortunately, of course, I know that might be too much to ask for this very stable genius. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like and share with your friends. You can subscribe and help out the channel by becoming a patron. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf, or you can become a channel member as well by hitting the join button below.